Welcome. In this presentation, we're going to explore how early literacy develops in young children and what that looks like in an early childhood classroom. By the end, you should have a clearer understanding of how to support early literacy in ways that are meaningful and developmentally appropriate. Let's get started. Foundational understanding of print emerges from a child's daily experiences. This relies on interconnected early literacy components fostered through everyday interactions and a print-rich environment. Early literacy is built on 5 key skills. Oral language is the center engine for expression. Phonemic awareness is the auditory ability to hear and manipulate sounds. Alphabet awareness involves recognizing letters. Print concepts is understanding how text works. And early writing and inventive spelling are exploratory attempts to represent sounds. Early literacy is not taught in isolation. It is built through everyday interactions, play, and purposeful experiences. Before a child can recognize and name letters of the alphabet, they move through important developmental stages that build the foundation for writing and print understanding. The first stage is exploring marks and shapes. At this stage, children are experimenting. They make marks, draw lines, and begin to notice shapes in their environment. You might see straight lines, curves, and scribbles that may not yet represent anything specific. Next is developing print awareness. Children begin to understand that print is organized and follows patterns. They notice that writing moves in a line and that strings of letters look different from one another. The third stage is connecting sounds to print, often seen through early or inventive spelling. Children begin to hear parts of words, like syllables, and attempt to represent them with letters. They may use familiar letters to stand for sounds, even if the spelling is not conventional. This is not incorrect. It is evidence of growth. Each of these stages builds toward alphabet knowledge, showing us that writing development starts long before children can correctly form letters. Drawing is one of the earliest and most important steps in a child's journey toward writing. Before children can form letters, they need opportunities to explore and express ideas through drawing. It often begins with scribbles. These early marks may look random, but they are meaningful. Over time, scribbles become more controlled, developing into lines, curves, and eventually shapes like circles. These are the same foundational movements needed for writing. As children continue, they begin to create symbols. A drawing may start to represent something familiar, like a person, a house, or a pet. Even if it is not immediately recognizable to us, it holds meaning for the child. Drawing is also deeply connected to children's interests. You may notice repeated patterns or themes in their work, like drawing the same object over and over. This repetition is not accidental. It reflects what they are thinking about and trying to understand. The interaction between teacher and child plays a key role here. When we ask children to describe their drawings or dictate what they have created, we help them connect their ideas to language and, eventually, to print. Over time, children begin to understand that marks, drawings, and written symbols can communicate thoughts and feelings. Drawing is not separate from writing. It is the foundation that makes writing possible. Now let's talk about print concepts. These are the fundamental rules that govern reading and writing, and your role as an educator is to consistently model them. Letter knowledge, this is more than just knowing the alphabet song. Letter knowledge means children recognize the alphabet letters, understand that each letter has a specific form, both upper and lowercase, and realize that these individual letters are the building blocks used to create words. Directionality is the rule for how we read. In English, children must learn that we read from left to right and from the top of the page down to the bottom. When you are reading aloud, it is vital to explicitly model this by running your hand or finger under the text. This intentional modeling helps children internalize the proper flow of reading. Representation is the concept where a child understands that print is symbolic. The marks on the page, the letters and words, are not random. They are symbols that represent real-world objects, ideas, sounds, and meaning. This is how they connect the written word cat to the actual animal. Text structure refers to the physical organization of print. Children learn that text is arranged in distinct lines on a page. They need to understand where a line begins, where it ends, and that when you finish one line, your eyes return to the left side of the next line down to continue reading. By embedding instruction for these 4 print concepts into your daily classroom activities, you give children the framework they need to confidently interact with and make meaning from all forms of print. Rote teaching methods, like drilling letters or repeatedly asking, "What letter is this?" are often less effective for young children. While memorization has a place, it does not build deep understanding. Instead, we want to teach the alphabet in ways that are meaningful, active, and developmentally appropriate. One approach is the name of the day. Focusing on a child's name makes learning personal and engaging. Children can search for the letters in that name around the room. helping them connect letters to something meaningful in their lives. Another strategy is alphabet letter sorting. Children match letters using hands-on materials, such as placing letter cards into corresponding slots. This supports recognition while also building problem-solving skills through active exploration. You can also incorporate movement with an alphabet chart game. Place large letters around the room and invite children to move from one letter to another in fun ways, like tiptoeing to letter C or hopping to letter M. This connects physical activity with learning, which is especially effective for young children. A word wall is another powerful tool. Display large letters and add new vocabulary words with pictures underneath as children learn them. This helps children see how letters are used in real words and builds connections between sounds, symbols, and meaning. When alphabet learning is interactive and connected to children's experiences, it becomes more engaging and more effective. As early childhood educators, our role in literacy development is not just to teach skills, but to create meaningful experiences that support how children naturally learn. This starts with being intentional about the goals of our instruction. First, we individualize instruction. Every child develops at their own pace, so our teaching should reflect that. This means paying attention to where each child is and planning experiences that match their abilities and interests. Next, we must be knowledgeable about the skills children should be working on and plan opportunities for them to practice these skills in the classroom. Highly responsive teachers notice children's interests and curiosity and build new learning off of these each day. Highlighting reading and writing skills in the classroom through modeling help children learn everyday functional use of each of these skills. Finally, creating environments that are print-rich and give children the opportunity to practice writing in meaningful ways help to build emergent literacy skills. Developmentally appropriate instruction is more than just having letters on the wall. It is about creating a space where children see, use, and interact with print in meaningful ways throughout their day. Most importantly, beginning attempts are honored. Scribbles, invented spelling, and early marks are all valid steps in the writing process. As children get ready to transition to kindergarten, it can become important to use the appropriate print script as the local school district. It is also important to remember that worksheets are not appropriate for young children. They often limit creativity and do not reflect how children naturally learn. In a true developmentally appropriate classroom, children do not just see print. They use it, explore it, and understand its purpose. When we think about creating a print-rich environment, it is not just about having a reading corner filled with books. Print should be present in every center of the classroom, giving children opportunities to see and use it in meaningful ways. In dramatic play, this might look like menus, signs, or order forms. Children begin to understand that print is used for communication in real-life situations. In the block area, you might include maps, blueprints, or labeled structures. This helps children see how print can guide planning and represent ideas. In the science area, clipboards, journals, or simple recording sheets allow children to document observations, even if that begins with drawings or marks. The goal is to embed print into play, not separate it from it. When children encounter print across all areas of the classroom, they begin to understand that reading and writing are tools they can use anywhere. This is how we move from teaching literacy as a skill to helping children live literacy as part of their everyday experiences. Modeling writing is a vital part of early literacy instruction because it helps children see both the purpose of writing and how writing works. First, modeling shows the utility of print. When children see you write a list, label a center, create a class story, or leave a message, they begin to understand that writing is useful. It is not just something we practice. It is something we use to communicate. Modeling also helps demonstrate the mechanics of writing. As you write, children can observe that print moves from left to right, that letters are formed in specific ways, and that words are made up of individual letters placed in order. One of the most powerful strategies you can use is a think aloud. This means saying you're thinking out loud as you write. For example, you might say, I need to write snack menu. I hear S at the beginning of snack, so I'll start with an S. I'm writing from the left side of the paper to the right. This helps make the invisible thinking process behind writing visible to children. It is also important to involve children in the process. Through shared or interactive writing, children can help write a class message, contribute ideas to a story, or suggest letters and words. As you continue thinking about early literacy, remember that these skills are not taught in isolation. They are built through everyday interactions, play, and meaningful experiences in the classroom. Your role as an educator is to create those opportunities, observe how children engage with them, and respond in ways that support their growth. Thanks for taking the time to learn more about early literacy development. If you found this helpful, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content on early childhood education. I'll see you in the next one.